let's go through my fly fishing vest. All right, so I don't always zipper clip this or whatever. You just gotta fish it, and it's kind of like high-waisted. It's above that, so you can kind of go into the water pretty deep and everything. And I haven't used this in months because I've been saltwater fishing, for months. But I still know what everything is. And I got a little patch in here for when I use a fly. I put it right in here and clip it on to kind of keep it dry, let it dry off before I put it back in the box. You don't want to put a wet fly in the box; it'll make all the flies in that box rust. Oh man, God forbid you drop a box in the water. You take that thing home and you dry it in the sun, and so that you don't lose all those flies getting all rusty. Let's see, what do I got in here? I got my fishing license. That's handy dandy. Although this one's from 2019. It's 2022. Pretty sure. Let's see. 6'5", brown eyes, brown hair. I guess, yeah. There you go. So I had the trout and the salmon stamp along with my inland fishing. Nowadays, this is I do all waters, marine and inland and everything. Okay, I'll keep that. Whatever. That's a time capsule. All right. At least it's got my fishing ID on it. Now, there's some tools in here. One of them, which you would just kind of keep handy, let's see, is your nippers. Come on, why is that not pulling out? I'm not going to bother trying to pull it. But nippers, little nippers for pinching and like toenail clippers for cutting your lines. And one thing that a lot of people don't have, I got these on the same one, is this. I love this tool, and I haven't seen one. It's like a little tippet. It tells you take the line and drop it in there, and it tells you what size line you have, and that makes it really handy for like matching the end of your line with the new piece of tippet that you're tying on, or maybe stepping it down to the next smaller size, because you're not guessing. You got it dialed in. All right. So I've definitely got the big pouches right here. I've got boxes of flies. All right, so I've got dry flies and nymphs on this side, and then my streamers on this side. I got some. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff in there. I got a dry pouch in here where I can put my wallet in, and another fishing license. Oh, this one's from 2021. Still not up to date. Oh boy, it's a time capsule of fishing licenses. But I've got a leader wallet in here, and leaders are that, like, you got your fly line, which is the big thick line that you're casting through the air, but then your like see-through part of your line is the leader that comes off of that, and that's what you're using to kind of transition from that big thick line way down to something tapered to being a very thin line that you tie your fly on. Now you can pull a leader right out of here, just tie it on and use it. Done. But eventually, as you cut off a few flies, eventually you lose a foot or two of that, and eventually you want to add on tippets. And so that's what I've got down here, little spools of tippets. And just like with the hooks, the larger the number on these, the smaller you're getting. Now the way it was taught to me, so this is a 6X versus a 5X. The way that it was taught to me, and I don't know if this is true, but it helped me remember it, is that in the olden days, fishing lines were made out of gut. Literally, cut strips of the intestines of animals, maybe cat gut. Okay, so a cat, kill the cat, take its gut, cut it into long, thin strips, and that muscle fiber is long, thin, and strong. And you can use it to tie little tiny knots or to make violin strings. Okay? Now, the people, so I was taught to me that the X's on this was that they used to draw it across a knife to make it thinner. So they might start off with a 0, a 0 size, meaning it hasn't gone across a blade at all. It's just been cut to its original size. But as you drew it over the blade once, 1X, take the line, go over a blade, and so you pull it tight across a blade, and it takes a little layer off. Okay, that's 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X, 6X. And so 6x means it's gone across the blade 6 times. It's become super thin. Yeah, my day in and day out is like 5x line is my tippet that I use for like nearly everything. It's let's see, about 4.5 pound tests. You can land 10-pound fish on that if you know what you're doing. Sometimes you use other sizes. And what else do we got in here? Okay, I got a few like little tippet rings. These are itty bitty rings that you could tie on the end of your leader. Okay, again, remember the long tapered leader at the end of it. Those leaders, you know, maybe 6 or 7, 9 feet long, 12 feet long leaders that are tapered. You tie one of those tippet rings at the end, and then you tie on your tippet to the ring. That's a relatively like new thing for me. Yeah, there's some pros and cons to it. I tend to just like to use a triple surgeon's knot to connect my leader and my tippet together. Triple surgeons, simple, done. Trim it, and then I don't have to fiddle around with these tippet rings. But I got them there as an option. Do I use them? No, because I'm kind of old school, and it's just easier for me to tie on a triple surgeons than to find a little tippet ring and use it. It's a fad. It's a fad. Just like these thingamabobbers. I bought a whole bunch of these little thingamabobber things. I don't use them. I got a whole bunch of these. Gee, this is like little yarn and stuff used for a New Zealand strike indicator. Oh my God! Oh, look at that, a lighter. Does it work? Yep, good. Sometimes a lighter is good for like melting down your lines and stuff like that. Melting the end knots of a line to kind of hold it together. Yeah, so I got those in my vest. Do I use those strike indicators? No, because still to this day, my preferred strike indicator are these little foam things. You pull one off, they're sticky, so you pull it off the sticky pad and you stick the circle over your line, and that little foam floats on top of the water. I don't know, I've been fishing long enough where I can kind of eyeball where I want this, how long up the line I want to put this as a strike indicator to indicate whether one of my nymphs has been eaten or not. So, although I have the New Zealand type in the thingamabobbers as strike indicators in my vest, it hasn't become a habit of mine to use. The same thing with split shot. I got this little container of different sized split shots, little tiny weights that you put on your line. There's only a few times where I've ever bothered to use it. I've got this fancy little thing of tungsten putty. Same thing, you know, like all these great aspirations, and I'm gonna like use this, but I still keep fishing with my, like, you know, my bead-headed pheasant tail nymph. I still catch trout, and I don't need these fancy things. They're still in here, like, just in case. They're like my security net that I carry around. I carry around these little weights and these thingamabobbers, just like I have a net. There is a net back here. I can feel it. Do I ever use it? No, because you know, for the most part, I can handle any fish that I catch. And after fishing in saltwater, what else we got in here? What else we got? Okay, all right. So some larger sized, so some 2x, 3x, 1x tippets are in those like little front pockets. Very large ones. There's okay, and some floating. This I definitely do use. Okay, so your dry flies are not floating anymore. You grind them into this little powder, this desiccant powder, and it looks all weird because it's all covered and it's all white. But once it hits the water, it kind of pops back to life and it floats. Yeah, so that like a little thing of powder in there. Oh, so I got like little heaty packets for my hands in the winter. That's about it. Forceps, definitely a pair of forceps. I'm sure as I get older, eventually there's going to be a pair of like seeing, you know, some reader eyeglasses that eventually get looped in here. But so far my eyes are okay. Yeah, that's it for my vest. Mostly a place to hold like tippets and stuff like that, and lines, and just to have things organized when I'm fishing out in the day. I know right where everything is, it's kind of also like a nice place to like rest your hands. You just whatever. You sit on the bank and you eat a sandwich or a granola bar and relax. Yeah. So that's my fly vest. In the back pocket. Is this an updated? Yeah, it's an updated fishing license. I got my wife on one side and me on the other side. And my boater's license, everything's on this one. So this one's up to date. It's in the back. And laminated. Yeah. So in the back I got like a little Tenkara rod in case I wanted to use that. What is this? Ooh. What do I, oh, look at this. Look at this. Safety glasses, huh? Alright, so I got sunglasses. And then I got regular safety glasses. Alright, so when do I break these out? All the time. I still to this day, every time I'm fly fishing, I wear sunglasses. If the sun's out, I'm wearing sunglasses to protect my eyes from a flying hook. Or I wear those safety glasses when it's at nighttime. Honestly, at night, sometimes you can't even see what you're doing and everything. You might as well be just casting with your eyes closed and just feeling where things are. That is literally what you are doing many times when you're fishing at night. Yes, you might get some like little bits of glint and stuff off the water from the moon and everything, but sometimes you're fishing on a clouded night when there's no light, no street lights, no nothing, and you're just going by feel, just the feel of the line. You just kind of know when to stop and when to go forward. But anyway, still wear those clear glasses, those safety glasses, just in case the hook is. I'm not even noticing it. Plenty of times I've heard the hook bounce off those glasses, and boy, am I happy. There's other times where I get it caught in my scalp, I get it caught in my back, I get it caught in my arm. I got a hook in my arm just the other day. We were catching a bluefish that backed up into the rods that were in the rod holders and got a hook in me. And I was like, ah! And so then I took the darn hooks off of them, so I wouldn't hook myself again. Yeah, you're gonna get yourself with hooks. That's why I pinch down all the barbs on all my hooks, because then the hooks come out nice and easy. You don't have to push them all the way through and then cut them off. They will slide right back out. That was a pretty heavy gauge. It was like one of these hooks, but without a barb, and it was in my arm, and it did slide right back out. It hurt, definitely hurt, but it slid right back out because I pinched all barbs on all my hooks. Yeah. All right. So that's my vest. All right. Take care.